In the heart of Zandia lived Kojo, a young man in his late 20s, known for his strikingly smooth brown skin, expressive almond-shaped eyes, and a scruffy beard that hinted at neglected potential. Kojo was infamous for his laziness. His broad shoulders and lean build spoke of a body capable of hard work, yet his slouched posture betrayed a lack of ambition. Kojo spent his days under the ancient baobab tree, escaping chores and responsibility. His parents, Naya and Kofi, had tried everything to motivate him, but Kojo remained indifferent, his dreams as scattered as the leaves on the forest floor. Naya and Kofi often sat by the fire at night, their faces etched with worry. Naya, with her soft, round features and wise eyes, braided her greying hair as she expressed her despair. Kofi, with a weathered face and broad hands calloused from years of farming, clenched his fists in frustration. "We've tried everything," Kofi muttered. "How will Kojo survive when we're gone?" One fateful evening, Kojo stumbled upon an elderly woman on a winding village path. Her frail frame was cloaked in a simple robe, her deep brown skin lined with age, and her eyes gleamed with an otherworldly light. "Please, young man, help me carry this," she said, her voice trembling as she struggled with a heavy basket. Kojo hesitated, eyeing her skeptically. "What's in it for me?" The old woman smiled. "A reward greater than you can imagine." After Kojo delivered the basket to her modest hut at the forest's edge, the old woman handed him a single kola nut. "This will bring you blessings," she said cryptically. Kojo frowned, unimpressed. He pocketed the nut and left, dismissing her words as the ramblings of an eccentric elder. Days later, Kojo visited Amma, a kind but aging widow known for her generosity. Amma's deeply lined face and weary eyes betrayed years of hardship. Kojo, jokingly recounting the tale of the kola nut, was stunned when Amma suddenly glowed with radiant light. Before his eyes, her skin smoothed, her wrinkles vanished, and she stood transformed into her youthful self. News of Amma's miraculous transformation spread like wildfire. Women from every corner of Zandia arrived at Kojo's door, each desperate for a taste of his mysterious power. The once idle dreamer now found himself overwhelmed by the attention and newfound wealth. Overwhelmed by the flood of attention, Kojo began to see an opportunity. Once mocked as the useless one, he now had power people were willing to pay for. With a mix of nervousness and greed, he started charging for his services. His hut, once a place of idleness, became the busiest spot in Zandia. Kojo, however, could not shake an unease that gnawed at him. The kola nut had changed everything, but why had the old woman chosen him? One evening, Kojo's parents, Nia and Kofi, approached him. While Nia looked relieved to see her son thriving, Kofi's furrowed brow betrayed his worry. "My son," Kofi said, "have you thought about what this means? Power like this comes with a price. Have you considered where this might lead?" Kojo brushed them off, saying, "What's the harm? People are happy, and I'm finally making something of myself." But his father's words lingered in his mind. As Kojo's fame grew, the mysterious old woman returned. She appeared one night outside his hut, her silhouette illuminated by the flickering flames of a nearby torch. "Have you forgotten my words, Kojo?" she asked, her voice echoing with a strange resonance. Kojo froze, his heart racing. "What do you want?" he stammered. "You've taken much from this gift, but you've yet to understand its true purpose," she replied cryptically. That night, Kojo had a vivid dream. He stood in a vast, dark field under a sky full of swirling stars. The old woman appeared, her eyes glowing like embers. Around them, the figures of the rejuvenated villagers emerged, their expressions vacant and ghostly. "They have taken your blessings," she said, "but the balance must be restored." Kojo awoke drenched in sweat, the old woman's words ringing in his ears. The next day, Kojo noticed something strange. Amma, the first woman he had rejuvenated, seemed drained of energy despite her youthful appearance. Soon, other women began to exhibit similar signs of fatigue and listlessness. Realizing something was terribly wrong, Kojo set out to find the old woman, desperate for answers. Kojo found the old woman deep in the forest. She revealed the truth. The kola nut's power was not a gift, but a trial. For every blessing Kojo gave, he took a portion of the recipient's vitality, binding them to him forever. "You've meddled with forces you don't understand," she warned. "To break the curse, you must make a sacrifice." Kojo staggered out of the forest, the old woman's words replaying in his mind. To break the curse, he had to make a sacrifice. But what sacrifice? The kola nut had made him powerful, but at what cost to the people who had trusted him? That night, as he sat in his once empty hut, now filled with treasures from his miraculous deeds, Kojo realized he had a choice. He could continue to live in luxury, ignoring the toll his actions had taken on others, or he could seek redemption. The next day, Kojo approached Amma, the first to be affected by the kola nut's power. Kneeling before her, he confessed everything: the truth about the kola nut, the old woman's warning, and the price she and others were unknowingly paying. Amma, though weakened, looked at him with a mixture of sadness and understanding. "You were given this power for a reason, Kojo. Perhaps this is your chance to truly help." Her words struck a chord. Kojo vowed to undo the damage, no matter the cost. Guided by the old woman's cryptic words, Kojo began a journey to find the forgotten, spirits bound by the kola nut's power. He ventured into the forest, the place where the natural and spiritual worlds intertwined. As he delved deeper, the air grew heavy, the trees twisted unnaturally, and the shadows seemed to move. It was a realm not meant for mortals, but Kojo pressed on, determined to right his wrongs. Kojo encountered the spirits of those whose vitality he had unknowingly taken. Their forms were translucent, their eyes hollow. They spoke in voices that seemed to echo from everywhere and nowhere. "You took from us, Kojo," they said in unison. "Now you must give back." Kojo pleaded for forgiveness and asked how he could restore what had been lost. The spirits demanded that he relinquish his own vitality in exchange for theirs. It was the only way to restore balance. Kojo agreed to the spirits' demand. He consumed the last fragment of the kola nut, which glowed fiercely in his hand. As he swallowed it, a searing pain shot through his body, and he collapsed. When he awoke, he was surrounded by the villagers he had helped. Amma and others looked rejuvenated, not just physically, but in spirit. Kojo, however, felt weak, his strength and vitality drained. Kojo returned to Zandia a changed man. Though physically weakened, he had gained something far greater, a purpose. He dedicated himself to teaching others the importance of community and balance. The villagers, once divided by greed and envy, united to care for him and each other. The baobab tree under which Kojo had once napped became a symbol of growth and redemption. Years passed, and Kojo's story became a legend in Zandia. His once scorned name now inspired awe and respect. Though his body grew frailer, his spirit remained unbroken. Villagers often gathered beneath the baobab tree, seeking his wisdom. One day, Kojo called for a final gathering. He spoke to the villagers with the same fire that had transformed his once lazy soul. "The true gift," he said, "is not in the miracles we seek, but in the strength we find within ourselves. Power without purpose destroys. Love and unity build." As his words resonated in the hearts of the villagers, Kojo handed the last kola nut to a young boy, Tunde, who reminded him of his younger self. "Use this wisely," Kojo said, his voice barely above a whisper. That evening, Kojo passed away quietly under the baobab tree. His face bore a serene smile, as though he had finally found complete peace. The villagers mourned his passing but celebrated his life and the lessons he left behind. They buried him beneath the baobab tree, which now stood as a living testament to his journey, a reminder of how even the most unlikely among them could rise to greatness. Decades later, the story of Kojo continued to inspire generations. The baobab tree flourished, its branches spreading wide, as if to embrace all who came to hear the tales of the miraculous rise of Kojo. Tunde, now an elder himself, safeguarded the kola nut Kojo had entrusted to him. He never used it, understanding its true power lay not in its magic, but in the lessons it symbolized. And so the village of Zandia thrived, its people united by the memory of the boy who once slept under a tree and the man who rose to shape their destiny.